Your fellow with the Catholic Association, Ashley McGuire, is standing by about why enough is enough. We need to defund Planned Parenthood. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
Yeah, that's a headline that gets the left's heads popping, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've been shilling for, corporate abortion for decades. And, the truth is really starting to come out about what a crooked organization they are, the way they jeopardize women and women's health. I mean, I think, the gig is up, and people are starting to realize that the only thing that they're interested in is their financial bottom line.
Yeah, and you and I have known that for a long time, but who's finally figuring it out now? Because I know a lot of people on the left who will say, if you don't support Planned Parenthood, unfriend me. I'm like, okay, bye. But who is this who?
Well, for example, the New York Times. I mean, I think it was pretty shocking to see that the New York Times ran an expose
about... did it?
Yeah, the New York Times ran an expose about filthy Planned Parenthood clinics, and some of it is almost, inappropriate for radio, but we're talking like sewage, in the hallways, dirty medical items. I mean, just really like women being left bleeding on dirty tables. And so I think if they're getting the attention, if the left-wing media is starting to report about this, then something's shifting in the conversation.
Yeah, it's a slaughterhouse, and I mean that's what they do there. So it's about time that they gave it the attention it deserves. They've been calling us liars for as long as I've been on the radio, and now the truth is coming out. This is not a new thing.
No, it's not. I mean, it's something, as you say, that those of us in the pro-life movement have known for a long time. We've been shouting this from the hilltops. We've unfortunately learned this lesson the hard way. I mean, we saw with Kermit Gosnell. I mean, he wasn't Planned Parenthood, but his clinic sure sounded like the clinics that the New York Times was covering. And then we have this story coming out of Illinois where this abortionist, punctured a woman's uterus, left half of an unborn baby in her body, and almost killed her and probably left her infertile for the rest of her life. Again, this is the truth about the abortion industry. It's finally starting to come out. And the truth is, you can't hide the truth forever. And so we're starting to see the true nature of the abortion industry.
Well, we had insiders, and they were all just mad because of the entity who did it, who I'm not allowed to name on the air now because of their court suit that's ongoing, and they're being sued. But they went in there undercover, and you could see what they did with the aborted babies. There was no sort of empathy whatsoever. The alleged things that they did were proven to be true in some cases, and it was absolute disgust. It was worse than a horror movie.
No, I think you took the words from my mouth. I mean, this is the stuff of horror movies. It's the stuff of nightmares. And we owe women more than this. I mean, we can do better. We know from statistics that more than 2/3 of women feel pressured into abortion. Imagine being pressured into one of these horrible corporate slaughterhouses and being left injured, maimed, and then gaslit by, the left when you come out and speak out. I mean, that's what they do is they gaslight you. And so we owe women better. You look around the country, these pregnancy resource centers, there are options for women that can help them, A, have the baby that they want to have, and B, empower them to make that choice. I mean, many of these pregnancy centers, they walk with women through the first several months, sometimes the first year of life with that baby. They're there to support them, and we can do better. And we know, again, that taxpayers overwhelmingly support these clinics. They like them. They want to fund things like that. You look at states like Tennessee and Texas, where they passed protective measures for women and mothers, for mothers and their babies, and at the same time they passed tens of millions of dollars in aid to these pregnancy centers that help women make the choice that they want to make. That's what we should be getting behind, not these dirty, these unsafe clinics. And I'll point out that the abortion industry has been going to court for decades, fighting the most basic common sense protection and health and safety measures. We're talking the types of things that, like, an outpatient foot surgery center is held to. abortion clinics are not held to those same standards, and that's because they've been lobbying against it. They spend taxpayer money. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars as taxpayers funding Planned Parenthood. They take that money and they go to court to fight against the most basic common sense safety measures in their clinics.
Yeah, and what's upsetting to me the most is that they know it and they don't care.
Exactly. They don't care. You're absolutely right. They do not care. And that's the message that women need to hear. And that's the message that I think is finally starting to come. I mean, can you imagine being a doctor and leaving half of a baby inside a uterus? I mean, that is negligence of a level I have never heard. I mean,
well, they don't have to worry about malpractice. They don't have to worry about anything because this is a Medicaid patient who is a throwaway person in their mind anyway.
Exactly. And the clinic, ironically, was called the Equity Clinic. But the irony is that they serve disproportionately low-income minority women. And again, that's something that we know. Those are the women. There's a reason the Planned Parenthood clinics are most likely to find them in low-income minority neighborhoods. Because just as you say, they'll take those Medicaid dollars and then they'll leave you bleeding on a disgusting, dirty table because they don't care.
Not only that, the way that they abort the baby feels every single thing that happens to it. And I want you all to remember that. We were talking about a little person whose heart is beating, and they're going in there and slaughtering it and then vacuuming it out. And if they leave part of the baby in there, obviously horrible things happen. And then it affects the mother, who may also die. And why doesn't anyone care? And to be honest, I care, not just because of the babies. I care about the moms and the ones who are remorseful afterwards, but I don't want a penny of my tax dollars that goes to Medicaid to cover any of this.
Well, and you're not alone. That's like, more than 2/3 of taxpayers don't want their tax money going to this. And, they'll turn around and say, oh, well, this goes towards all the other things that Planned Parenthood does. What other things? I mean, transitioning children? It's all fungible. We're underwriting this with our taxpayer dollars. It hurts women. It hurts babies, as you point out, babies who we know that at a certain point, if they're undergoing an operation in utero, are giving anesthesia. We anesthetize unborn babies because we know they feel pain.
Yeah.
And anybody who's really thinking about this can understand that at the most basic scientific level, that of course, something that's neurologically developed, that's moving around, sucking its thumb, clapping, dancing to music, that baby's going to feel pain.
Mm-hmm. And its heart is beating, it's alive,
Absolutely. I mean, the heartbeat begins often before many women know that they're pregnant.
Yep. And just because we're short on time, just remember, if you're walking into this place and you're very, very poor and you're desperate and you're seeing how filthy it is, you just keep walking, because you don't feel like you have any options. And I don't like the desperation factor here. But if Planned Parenthood would clean up their buildings, offer breast exams, pap smears, and even birth control, which I'm Catholic, so that wouldn't be something I would offer, but it is what it is. If they would do those things and offer actual health care and not kill babies, I'd have no problem with them, but that's not what they're about.
No, that's not what they're about. What they're about, again, is what I would argue is one of the biggest taxpayer rackets in modern history, where they take your tax dollars and they turn around and use that tax money to go around and lobby for more tax money, so that they can then go to court and lobby against anything that would in any way impinge upon their ability to commodify and exploit women's bodies with as little safety precautions as possible, and absolutely no regard, as we've discussed, for the second patient, the unborn baby that's in that woman's body.
And your mental health will suffer, ladies. Ashley McGuire, Senior Fellow, the Catholic Association. We must defund Planned Parenthood. Now is the time. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.